Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the garden. We're back again with another one. This is an exciting one because I feel like gladioluses are really having a revival. Like, I know they're so like, oh, it's a funeral flower, and oh, those are so old fashioned. But I feel like they're making a little bit of a comeback, and I'm here for it because I absolutely love these things. Just the sheer variety and the color in terms of their use in cut flower arrangements and centerpieces and things. Totally unmatched. Not to mention, they are like a legitimate haven to the pollinators. The bees love these things, but more importantly, the hummingbirds. I seriously love watching the hummingbirds bounce through these things. So, to get started, obviously, I'm going to clear off a place for my bed. I have these corms, not bulbs. Technically, they are called corms. I've planted a lot of different varieties over the last few years. Though they are hardy to zone 8, they seem to perennialize very well here in my zone 6B/7 garden, just south of Nashville, a little ways. So what I do to plant them is I dig a trench. You'll notice that this trench is pretty narrow. I find that that gives me the best results. In the past, I have planted them in a wide bed before, and they did not bloom. I don't know if it was something related to the airflow or something like that, but narrow works best for me. I've also planted them in larger containers. In this video, I'll put it in the cards where I arrange the corms in containers. I've had really good results with that. It was very attractive. So if you've got a smaller space, maybe popping a few of these corms into a container is a good option. If I were to do this again, I would maybe put a few less corms in there, just a couple, because this was a pretty tight spacing. But overall, once they're in there, just cover them up with your potting soil, firm them down really good, and water them. The whole entire process is relatively easy and straightforward, no kind of special care or anything. When you are planting these things, make sure you're orienting them correctly. The bottom has kind of a base ring of roots, and the top has a little growth tip. They might have this papery sheath on them. That's fine if they do. You don't have to peel it off or anything. And if they don't, that's fine too. You can see the little base ring of roots should be down. As you're planting, be sure to toss out any bulbs that are soft or that, just don't look right. You'll know. When you see it, you'll know. Sometimes they're moldy. Sometimes they're really squishy and soft. Get rid of those. They're not going to be worth your time. From a early spring planting, I usually plant mine just about the last frost date, just to be safe. I think I could probably plant them a few weeks earlier, but I just like to, err on the side of caution. These things will sprout very quickly. You'll be surprised. Before you know it, you'll have tons of these little flower blades, I guess, or foliage blades sticking out. Here in my little row here, it's very close together. I put about 2 feet between the rows, and by summer, that's way too close. I would definitely say at least maybe 3 feet between each of the rows. I did do some mulching with some straw last year and some grass clippings and things, and that seemed to work really well. That first row was more of an experimental row, and I left the others and I just mowed between each of the rows, and that was a pretty good technique for keeping things nice and clear and weed free. As you can see, I don't have any kind of drip irrigation lines or anything like that running through the yard. And for the most part, the rainfall that we got was more than enough to keep these things looking their best. I don't think I gave them any kind of supplemental water throughout the season, but that just has to do with the climate. So if you live somewhere that's on the dry side, that might be something else to consider. In general, these probably would benefit from some support, even though I didn't do it last year. I think a little bit of support maybe going down the side in the form of kind of a line trellis would help tremendously. I wouldn't put netting or anything on it because I could imagine that would be a real pain to try to harvest around. After several weeks, you're likely to begin seeing these bud up. These buds, these kind of sword-like spikes come directly out of the center of the leaves. It's hard to explain, but when you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. They open over the course of time, usually I'd say about a week here in my yard. It just depends on the weather. If it's hotter, they're going to open faster. If it's a little bit cooler or rainy or something, it seems like they take their time a little bit more to open. I like to cut these for cut flowers as soon as they have started to unfurl just a bit and show their color, and they will continue to open in their buckets. The ones you're seeing here, mainly I let bloom to their full potential just so I could take pictures, you know, for the videos. And of course, these were all getting donated in cut flower arrangements. So it didn't really hurt for them to be bloomed out all the way because I wouldn't have to, you know, worry about storing them or getting the most vase life possible, because those donation vases do get changed out so frequently. I just wasn't worried about the vase life with these specifically. As you can see from this video, there are tons of options available in terms of color. I have multiple Gladiolus tour videos here on the channel. If you are interested in those, I'll put the cards to those videos there. I think I had a tour of the old house where I grew several varieties of glads, and a tour of this most recent season where I grew several new varieties here in the new yard. Some of those were my favorite. Lots of peachy and creamy varieties in that one, which of course I am always excited about. Y'all, you know, I'm all about those pastel shades. Absolutely stunning. I think in the future, as long as I have room, I'll continue to add some pretty varieties as needed here to the yard, because, I mean, let's face it, we can never get enough diversity. And plus, like I said, I love watching the hummingbirds just cruise in and out of these rows. They seem like they are totally obsessed with these things, and I guess I am too. I think that's really about it for this video. As always, if you have any questions or comments or anything, or if I've forgotten anything, do let me know down below, and I'll do my best to answer. I'll be the first one to admit that much of what I do is just solely based on trial and error, and I might not have the answers, but hopefully I can give some kind of insight into it. I don't know. But tell me your favorite variety, what variety I should try next, because I know there are so many ruffly, feathery, just cool textures, cool colors, so many different types to try. I hope that it is incredibly sunny wherever you are. You totally deserve it. Thank you so much for watching. Without you, it genuinely would not be possible, and I really do mean that. So thank you, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.